Welcome to the Calmer Self podcast. I'm Nadine. Join me to learn how to connect with the calmer version of yourself. I'll share with you my tips and coping strategies for reducing feelings of stress, overwhelm and guilt so that you can live a productive life with ease and joy. And there'll be inspiration from other wellbeing therapists, experts in relaxation and fellow calm crusaders. Hello everybody. Today I've got the absolute joy of having a chat with Melissa Kuman. Now, Melissa is a qualified nutritionist who helps women achieve and sustain a healthy physique in a delicious way. She runs the brand, The Delicious Nutritionist, online. So welcome, Melissa. It's good to talk to you today. I've just got to say before we start, what a fabulous name. That word delicious, the delicious nutritionist. Got to say it very carefully, but it's so, to me, it just conjures up that kind of warmth and comfort and joy. And it's got that wonderful nurturing feel about it. So it is a brilliant name. And it's very much, to me, it sums up you. You know, you've got that deliciousness about you. And I don't mean that to sound strange in any way, but you're caring and you're nurturing and everything. So could you tell me a little bit about your passion and in what you've created, because you've created this beautiful business. So if you could tell us a little bit about how that came about for you.
Yes, it was definitely kind of a zigzag path, I guess, of how I got here. I've always loved food from a young age, you know, being half Turkish. I grew up with the Mediterranean diet. My dad is such a foodie. You know, the kitchen's the heart of our the house. You know, we all love food, love to eat, live to eat, rather than the other way around. And so I studied nutrition at university, Newcastle up north, and always been such a foodie. I almost started off as like a food blogger, you know, just posting foodie recipes, and just wanted to try all the different restaurants. But it got to the point when I was like halfway towards the end of my degree where I just started to gain some weight, you know, and I was very stubborn. I didn't want to go on a diet. I didn't want to feel like I had to lose weight. But at the same time, if you're in a body which doesn't make you feel confident and good, you know, what's the point in the end? And you almost, so I was like, I can't do this anymore. I've had enough. So this is where I came up with the fact that, you know, food can be delicious. And it was only when I was researching recipes where I found like different hacks to make things really delicious, and you don't have to be on a diet. And I enjoyed the process, and the weight just came off. And I studied life coaching and neuro-linguistic programming, which gave me a whole set of different tools, because it was interesting the fact that I studied a degree in nutrition, but I wasn't necessarily inputting the advice. I had to study kind of the mindset and goal setting, and then everything came into place, because we all know how to eat healthy, don't we? But half of us don't do it. And that's how I came up with the Delicious Nutritionist, because I have this expertise, but also I really value the beauty of cooking and eating out, and, you know, not restricting yourself.
I love that. It is. I really, really feel what you're saying, because it is about making it a joy, isn't it? And not. I'm totally with you on diet sheets. You know, I don't want to know that kind of thing. We can have the deliciousness, can't we? And still have that wonderful lifestyle. And you've talked about mindset there a little bit. And, you know, I work a lot with mindset and building up self-esteem. And I know that you do too. And it's around, I believe, like the food you choose and your body image, isn't it? Is that what you give to people with all of your expertise? You're sort of helping them with their mindset and how they think and feel, I think, about their choices. Is that some of what you do?
Yeah, definitely. Because, you know, nutrition advice is one thing, but if you don't have the right tools, you can't, because your mind governs everything. So if you've got beliefs where you think you're unattractive or you're fat, you know, and you are your behavior, a lot of people, they do a behavior and they think that's their identity. So it's about kind of unpeeling the layers. And then, of course, nutrition advice is very valuable, but you've got to set a good, like, healthy base to begin with, and then you can build the layers up. And so I deal with all sorts, you know, clients feeling ugly, and then kind of breaking that down and realizing that not necessarily true. Yeah, it's really interesting.
It must be actually fascinating, because it's really nice. Like you say, it's not just about a diet sheet, is it? It's about the whole person and the whole feeling. And I know when I work with clients, I'm met with a lot of resistance, myself included. When I did work on myself, I was very resistant. And I know that you help people a lot around things like self-sabotage and feeling guilty, that kind of thing. So how does that feel for you, and what sort of solutions do you offer people around like self-sabotage and resistance to, like we said earlier, diet sheets, that kind of thing? How do you help people with that?
Well, I take clients on a 12-week journey, and everything is bespoke to them. So it depends why they're self-sabotaging. Maybe it's because they've set, not with me, but in the past, maybe they've set like an unrealistic goal. You know, and I've had clients say it's like they've have a devil on their shoulder telling them to eat the whole crisp packet. And when you kind of do a lot of NLP exercises, which throughout the process of the exercise, they have new realizations. And half of it, I think, comes down to freedom. So like they want to have the chocolate cake because they want to feel free, but actually they're not free at all. They're even more trapped. So I think it's shedding light onto how they're feeling. And also food is a great comfort mechanism. So one of the things that I say is, you know, it's actually a good thing you are turning to food, because there's so many other things you can turn to, like drugs or alcohol. That's a lot worse, perhaps. So, you know, indulging in a chocolate cake to make yourself feel better isn't actually the end of the world. So I kind of start off with that. And then it's about kind of making a list of other things that you can do to feel good. So get that kind of dopamine going. So it could be like lighting your favorite candle and running a bath, or it's about linking kind of dopamine with activities to make it more fun. You know, like how Mary Poppins said, you know, spoonful of sugar. So it's like, what's the sugar to your medicine? You know?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, really good. And it is, like you say, it's working with the individual, isn't it, and finding out what works for them. And I think you're absolutely right. You know, food is something that we need to survive, so it's not a bad thing to turn to. It's just actually tweaking it so that we are looking to the right things, and it is changing your mindset, so you are loving and caring for yourself, isn't it? It's that self-care thing, isn't it? So I love that approach. It sounds like really helpful for people. So you talk about balance, that kind of thing. Part of my Calmer Self method is all about life-work balance, helping people get that balance. You obviously relate that to food. You embrace that idea and balancing your choices. Choice is such a good word, isn't it? So how do you teach people how to get that balance as such? You know, how to, I mean, you've talked about choices, but to actually get that balance is sometimes quite tricky, isn't it?
It is. So yeah, this comes, the number one priority I want to achieve for clients is helping them feel good. So everything that we do is to help them feel good. So I say to them, like, if you really want the cake, and if it's the point where you feel worse not having the cake, eat the cake. The worst thing you can do is to eat the cake and feel bad. So everything's about feeling good. But if, you know, you're satisfied with your, you know, chocolate cake bites, a healthy version, you know, and you're feeling good and you're excited about getting the results, and don't eat the cake, you know, it depends. But getting balance, this I guess maybe comes on to more nutritional science, because if you've got a balanced plate and you're eating the right energy needs, and you're having snacks that are smart, so they're delicious but also gives your body the tools it needs, you probably will crave less. So it's about digging deeper into that, setting yourself up for success. But I teach clients that, you know, isn't it great how we've got such an abundance of foods? And I don't label things as good or bad, because I think society, that we put things on a pedestal and we're almost brainwashed. I think, you know, at Christmas we automatically think we need to eat lots of chocolate, but like, why? You know, it's this kind of habit, and we put them on a pedestal, and I think we want it more because we can't have it.
Oh, totally. Forbidden fruit sort of thing, isn't it? I love that. And I know you've talked about like choices and everything. I know you provide a lot of recipes for people, don't you? And I've made some of your what the cake pops, I think they were called, as an alternative to a cake as such, with healthy ingredients and that balance, so your sugar is balanced and everything, like you say, then they're very satisfying. You know, when I think about the traditional kind of cakes, they're not satisfying necessarily. So there is a difference, isn't there? And tuning into eating that way does make a difference, doesn't it? It balances everything. So like you say, you haven't got those cravings. So yeah, I love your recipes, and they're easy to do as well, which is even better. Brilliant. So I get quite a lot of people coming to me, women wanting to manage their symptoms of menopause. And I know that is something that you help with. Nutrition really, really helps in that way, doesn't it? It has a great influence on how things, again, we're coming back to that balance. So in that area, how do you help people? How do you educate them? And again, just what foods they can introduce?
Yeah, so I've worked with many women on their menopausal symptoms, and you know, you're right, after a few weeks their symptoms has gone. So when a woman ages, you've got to prioritize, you know, your bone loss, your estrogen levels drop, and also your bone loss effects. It's about supporting that. So having 5 prunes a day is quite a simple way to studies show that it slows down the bone loss.
Yeah. Good tip.
And also promoting 5 prunes a day.
Who knew?
And what else you could do? Obviously more studies would be helpful to know, but also like the estrogen food, so stuff like soya and like tofu and edamame beans. Like you could just roast edamame beans, or you know how like in your sushi you can buy those pots of edamame beans. They're really good just to nibble on, and that gives you a like dose of plant estrogens, and that can just help balance out your hormones. So yeah, like just have a bit of soya, you know, every day, in a portion every day for like 2 months, and you should see effect.
Yeah, because I think that's the key, isn't it? Giving it some time, introducing maybe new foods. And again, your recipes help with that, because some people, you've said a few words there that people might go, oh, I don't even know what that is. Never mind how to incorporate in my diet. So having ideas is really, really helpful, isn't it? And it is looking at, you know, what helps, because that's what menopause is all about, isn't it? Hormone imbalance. So it's actually looking at what's happening, probably for the individual, because again, we all go through it differently, don't we? And actually just giving advice and helping, and like the suggestions you just gave there, which is wonderful. So I never knew. But bone density is another thing, isn't it, that people suffer with, don't they? So if prunes help, that's a good thing in lots of ways, isn't it? So, and I know there's more that you help people with, which is brilliant. I'll just say at this point that you don't work only with women, do you? You do help men too. So just so men don't feel excluded from this, I know that you work with anyone, because it's about the individual, isn't it? So, which is wonderful.
Exactly.
Now I call what I do transformation through relaxation, which is quite corny, but it is really because I see real change in my clients over a period of time, and I know that you do as well. And I know you support people on this wonderful 12-week program, which you call, using the word transformation again, the delicious transformation, which again just sounds, you know, delicious is such a beautiful word, isn't it? It's wonderful. And it is so good, isn't it? And for me, it's not just about food. The delicious nutritionist, the delicious transformation, it just conjures up that, I get like a warm fuzzy feeling. So it's perfect, isn't it?
I know, it's weird, isn't it? I was going to say the same. It's almost like bubbly, and it's so much more than delicious. I don't know how to describe it. But
warmth, it's nurturing. And I know that, you know, it's a 12-week program that you offer people, and I think you call it like a nutrition and mindset overhaul, because that's what people are looking for, isn't it? But again, you know, you do see real changes in people, don't you? Real life changes. So could you tell people a little bit more about that 12-week program and how that works?
Yeah, of course. I've worked with women. These are their words. You know, I had one lady said, you know, I don't use life changing a lot, but in this case, it's very accurate. When I've worked with you, you know, they've gone from Slimming World to Weight Watchers, forming a bad mindset with food, that whole black and white approach. And they've just kind of lost their way with what is the truth, you know, and they want that balanced life. They want to feel healthy. They may want to, you know, slim down, but do it in a healthy way and focus on health. and just feel great. You know, at the end of the day, health is the core of everything we do, right? If we don't, you can have as much money and friends you want in the world, but if you don't have good health, it's kind of like, what's the point? You know, it's almost like the first thing we should prioritize in our life, which is when I had my awakening, you know, I transformed my own health. So clients really resonate with that, and yeah, they just feel great. I had one lady finish the 12 week, and it was like someone had poured liquid sunshine on her, and she finished the 12 weeks. Yeah. And that night I had received a phone call, and it was from her best friend. She called me up and was like, Melissa, I don't know what you've done, but you know, she is just transformed. I need to sign up. So she signed up that night there and then. So her friends have obviously seen it's just so much more than weight loss. It's almost like indescribable, you know, something's different about you. And I think that's the benefit of doing it in a holistic way rather than just nutrition advice.
Totally, isn't it? It's looking after everything, isn't it? So that is lovely, really, really lovely. So, and I get the impression from you that is 12 weeks of just pure bliss, actually, you know, learning different things, being sort of supported by you and just going through that change, which just sounds beautiful to me. So I think, yeah, wonderful. Sounds really, really good. And you can make a real difference, can't you, in 12 weeks? So that is perfect, isn't it? So now I've got to say, Melissa, to me, you seem like the very essence of calm. Now, and I know you do cooking and you do nutrition. I've seen you actually, you know, doing your demonstrations. I used to be a chef back in the day in a big London hotel, and that was not calm at all. But you managed to have this calmness about you, which is brilliant. So can I just ask you to share with everyone how you sort of tune into your calm centre, maybe what you do to nourish your own mind, body and soul, and maybe just talk us through a typical day for you, how it works for you, how you look after you.
Yeah, so I tend to put my phone now into a different room. So when I go to bed, I leave my phone in the office and I go upstairs. I think especially because I run my own business as well, the DMs are just coming in and it's almost like it's associated with work. So I tend to kind of cut it off at 8 o'clock, and also the blue light. Obviously, not all the time. But I tend to do that, and I make sure to hydrate a lot. So for women, you know, you want 6 to 8 glasses. So I kind of set myself, you know, morning, mid-morning, lunch, afternoon, evening, late evening are the kind of my hydration. I tend to have matcha sometimes. It's full of antioxidants and it has that slow release of energy. And just little things as well, like when I work, I don't like to have anything in front. Like I put paperwork away, I put my phone away, like I just want clear space. And I think organization is really great, so you don't have the cluttering of the mind. And like what else do I do? I like to listen to podcasts and stuff and just have like a general positive. I like to grow my kind of positive ball of energy, you know, and focus on what I want rather than don't want. I enjoy meditation, you know, now and again. I like the guided stuff.
Yes, that's helpful, isn't it, to be talked through it? That really helps. I mean, I can see how organised you are by your background there. It looks beautiful. And as I say, I've seen you cooking, you're very organised too. But do you spend time in nature? Does that help you? Do you have that sort of balance of getting in and out, that kind of thing? Because you must be indoors a lot. Do you love spending time outdoors too?
Yeah, I love it. So I'm in the Midlands right now. So I'm surrounded by nature. I live in like a hamlet. So I've got like the canal and I've got horses beautiful. Opposite me. So I just literally just walk up my house and go along the canal. And I tend to do that, you know, once a day or 3 times a week, go outside for a walk, call my cousin, you know, just call a friend and take a walk. Or sometimes the studies show if you look at things from a distance and you're high up, it reduces depression. It helps boost your mood. So I like to do that as well. I really get clarity and just have time to myself and, you know, almost talk to myself on the walk. It's nice. It
really helps. So you practice what you preach, so to speak. You do it all yourself, which is lovely. Really, really lovely. Now, I know a lot of people will want to get in touch with you and find out more about what you do, maybe sign up to your 12-week program. So can you just tell people how they can get in touch with you? And I know you've got YouTube videos and things like that. So what they can tune into, find out more about you.
Yeah, I would say the best place is Instagram. So you can find me on Instagram, The Delicious Nutritionist. And yeah, just see if you resonate with my content. I post recipes. Recently posted the prune chocolate bites. That's a good way if you wanted to incorporate more prunes in a delicious way. You can use that recipe. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, and if you want, you can message me on there. My website, of course, is thedeliciousnutritionist.com.
Yeah, we can find you on that, yeah, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. So I'd just like to end with asking you to share some words of wisdom for everybody, just so they can take with them in their day. So have you got anything that you want to perhaps share that might help people, just something to remember for you?
I think my advice is to master the basics. I think we get so caught up in the cherries on top of the cake, like the apple cider vinegar and the supplements and all these different things. People are popping pills, but they haven't mastered the basics of drinking 8 glasses of water a day, or having 5 portions of fruit and veg. So I say, master the basics, and maybe set yourself a goal of, am I drinking 8 glasses of water a day? And if not, that's my goal. And then kind of work your way up with getting, at least 5 fruit and vegetables a day, and master the basics, rather than I'm a very food first approach. I had a message the other day from a client saying, should I take these supplements? I'm like, no, you're getting it through your food, and that's the best way. Yes. Supplements is almost advertised as better than food, but it's not. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, it's almost like going to a party and enjoying the party, seeing the lights, the music going through your body, versus a party on Zoom. It's not quite the same. These supplements are like the party on Zoom. Get it from food. It's the best way of getting your nutrients. Does that make sense? It's
totally makes sense.
I just thought of it the other day.
No, it really does actually. It's having the whole experience, isn't it? And also that, from my understanding, is that a supplement isn't always in the best form, is it? It's actually eating the food with it's like fruit, isn't it? You have the whole fruit because you've got the fibre as well, rather than a pill or fruit juice, for instance. That's my understanding. So you're absolutely right. It's that whole thing. So, and I feel that is, your message there is what we say all the time, isn't it? Keep it simple. It's that really get that. So I love that. Master the basics, because that's sort of it's not rocket science, is it? It's get those in place first. You will feel better, and then, like you say, little steps to build on that. So I really love that. Brilliant words of wisdom there. So thank you so much. I knew I would enjoy chatting to you. I've had a lovely time talking to you, and I know that everyone will have heard what you've said and really want to get to know you a bit better. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nadine, for having me on, and thank you so much for everyone who's listening as well. It's great to chat with you, and hopefully see you on Instagram.
Yes, see you soon then. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Calmer Self podcast. Please rate and review. And if you want support, advice, accountability and inspiration to make the changes you need to manage your stress and live your life with ease and joy, check out the Calmer Self Facebook page. There's also more information on LinkedIn, Nadine award-winning changemaker, and please visit my website www.calmerself.co.uk.